Welcome to the Round 6 podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Brad.
I'm Alex.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Dustin.
And there we go. This is
Wow.
this is going to be a twofold episode. This is so cool. We're still obviously at the Grand National Roadster Show, as you can tell, because we don't just set this up in Brad's living room. We've done that once.
We've done
that before.
Not this time.
Sometimes we role play with it. I take
right.
it home some weekends. That's what I do. She's like, "Oh, come at me, podcaster boy," and I'm like, "Got you." Turn up my sound. Okay, another outtake for you. I got you covered this week. But we're sitting here. This is so cool. You guys, Erin and Dustin. First, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You
We're
guys.
not worthy.
You're quite worthy.
Hero status.
No,
Are you
you're quite
kidding me?
worthy.
Hero.
We have so many cool stories. There's so much stuff I want to go over with this. So, do we? Okay, let's start with. Let's do elephant in the room. Literally. Ooh, elephant in the room with the big Hemi thing. Nice. Although I don't have a 426. Stuff it. So, thing is, you guys, and you. This is like this. Hell, this whole part of the table. I feel left out of this.
You were on the outs.
I
right.
was literally
you were the
way
mark.
on the outs.
Yeah.
We did something so cool. Well, you did something so cool. I was just part of it. I came along for the ride. I went for brunch.
Went to a dumb
I
birthday
got
party.
the coolest brunch thing ever. How do I even... I can't say thank you guys enough. You guys did... Seriously, what you guys did was just unreal. I mean, amazing.
Oh.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
happy
you.
to be a small part of it.
Beyond thank you.
It was a collective effort.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
collective for
Yeah.
sure.
It was amazing. I would never have even thought to do that. I'm sure you know that. You know my plans. My plans are simple.
I went
Had
dumb. I went dumb and just asked. Figured it couldn't hurt. I was a little blown away when it happened.
He asked for it all. And he figured, why not?
For broke.
Yeah, I went for broke. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But it was so cool, you guys. So let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk how this whole thing transpired, because people keep asking. So let's go back to the beginning. Your first talk. This goes back to when now? Because I'm putting the whole timeline together still in my head.
Oh.
I know SEMA was something, and then after that, I know there's something going on at Dino's party that I felt really
Yeah,
weird
a lot
about.
of people lied to you, Brian. A lot.
Everybody liked it.
Multiple
we all
times.
lied.
When I walked up to you guys at the Get Down, where you guys were talking, I was
Yeah.
talking to a couple people,
Okay.
and I started making my way over, and it got really weird and quiet, and I kind of just went. It was like I ticked somebody off somewhere, which happens a lot, but I figured.
No, and we
So
weren't
what was
even
it-
talking about it then. When you were talking to her, and he and I were in a pretty heavy discussion. We
Mm-hmm.
were behind one of the trucks, and we were kind of talking about the whole entire thing. And he was kind of filling me in little blank spots I wasn't sure about. And she was just over there being her bubbly self, keeping you all dialed in, so you were in the dark completely. But the whole thing started is I knew you knew somebody at Magnuson. I just didn't know who you knew. I wasn't sure who it was.
Like the coolest person.
But I knew Dino.
The only person you
but
need to
I
know.
knew Dino knew somebody there because he had mentioned it before. So I went onto his Facebook friends list and started scrolling until something. I kid you not. This sounds really dumb because I had seen this. It's like there was somebody boosted something that was on there, and it's like, okay, this is. So I found you and I went, I think this is somebody. So
Was it hard to find? Because
No.
because I purposely don't put my last name on social
No, I
media.
just was-
because you're out there with
for
I
work
know you.
purposes,
I know
yeah.
It was just what it was. So
Okay.
when I reached out to you, I was like, I'm kind of making a shot in the dark here. This is what I'm doing. And she goes, hey, let's talk. Like, okay, well, I got the right person. Now I got to give her my spiel and see if this actually works. And then when she got all excited, we have to do this. Like, this is good. Okay, well, I went for the big one first, and okay, this is really cool. So
More than big.
So the look on your face when the whole thing went down and you were in the garage looking at this box going, wait, what is going on here? It's like, no, that's for your car.
I was trying to figure out why we were there to put Dino's truck together when I was going for brunch. I was happy about it. I figured that's what we were there for. And I was
You're like, detour.
it's like Stacy's
Say
coming along
hi.
for this? I was like, cooler than I thought. So
She's a keeper. If she's
knew
down
that-
with this.
I did that before, but I was like, oh my God. So
yeah, he had just hit me up on social media, and obviously, like, you and I had talked on social media before, and I I met David Engel last year at Winter Nationals here in Pomona.
Okay.
And then him and I became like real fast friends. Like we have a lot in common. And it was just like his love for you. And then I got to know you over social media.
Really?
And then it's like, why would I not want to be a part of this? You're so deserving and you do so much within this community. Aftermarket, I mean, it's crazy to look at all the companies you've ever been involved with, and we know sometimes working with as a company in the aftermarket automotive, we know that you do things and you don't necessarily ever get credit for them, or you don't really get appreciated like you should. And I'm like, for me, this is a great opportunity to help do that for someone.
I feel way more than appreciated. Now I feel like I haven't done enough.
No. So when he
Thank
said,
you.
he was probably sweating bullets and was like, I gotta give her my spiel. I gotta talk her into this. I was already a yes. So.
I
I just made him
Did
work
you make
for
him work
it.
for it?
Yes.
Me at hello.
But actually, but she
Brian
goes, "We
Stupsky.
want to do this." Like, oh, really? Oh, okay. I was a little shocked because it was a big deal. It wasn't like, can I get some valve stems?
Right.
No, I'm going for the
Yeah.
moon here.
Yeah.
And
Holy cow.
yes, so
Yeah.
the Magnuson people rock.
Yeah,
There
and
is
I have a
no
great
doubt.
executive manager, and he was on board with it.
Wow.
He's awesome too. I gotta get
Yeah.
him. We'll be sending a lot of thank you cards and
Oh.
pizzas. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be.
And you know what? It wasn't. I cannot take all the credit for Magnuson's portion either. I mean, my husband Dustin, who also works at Magnuson, was an instrumental person within all this, and also our head calibrator. I mean, there were so many people involved in getting this out the door. That just know it's not just me. There's
Amazing.
probably 7 people involved.
Wow.
So
The
yeah.
logistics involved too, with everything
yeah.
from even just when you get down to okay, this is so crazy. The computer for the car.
Yeah.
That was really difficult. That was
You had to have a Hemi.
you guys.
You had to take the hard route.
The difficult deal, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, that was part of the. We were talking at Dino's for a while, and I'm like, you need to get the computer unlocked. You'll need to send it in or buy a new one, but then you'll need to pull a file to send to the company so they can flash it with the right info. And he's like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. Like, it's like, how am I
I
gonna?
can't steal this car. How am I
Like-
going to do this?
It was gonna be. I was in my head the past few nights. I'm going, how the hell did they do this? And I feel bad because Danny, my kid, was not gonna be super helpful at the beginning. He was like, any information. I think Daniel's like, he clams up. He's like, well, I can't give that information out. And he's telling me about. He's like, he's fighting him to get the VIN off my car. I'm going. And I was thinking, well, how did you guys manage this? Because I'm like, okay, it's gonna need a computer. Like, or is somebody gonna just show up with a laptop and he's
Yeah.
gonna be like, here you go.
And we had that on the back
We-
burner.
we
I had
almost had
somebody
it, yeah.
Oh my
locally
God.
in Arizona, in Phoenix.
You
that
got,
would-
you got a guy on call. This guy's like,
Oh
literally.
no,
Yeah.
it was
Oh yeah, if we had to go that
It was a
route, we
backup
would-
plan.
Wow.
But luckily, the guys over at Petty's had a computer that we could swap, and who got all of our stuff. And he flashed. We sent him the supercharged file, and then he flashed that in there. And he's like, "You should be good to go. All you gotta do
It's
is plug it in." So
Amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, and the cool as a Mopar guy, when I heard the name Petty's Garage pop up, I went,
See, even they were involved.
I was
Yeah.
like, this car's
Yeah.
so cool
How
now. I'm
cool-
like,
how
it's
cool is that?
Petty's touched your car, dude.
Yeah.
How's that
even
for-
better.
Oh,
Like,
man.
wow. It'd be weird though if like, no, I'm not gonna go.
I mean,
there
not
on air,
Richard,
but
sorry,
No, that'd be.
but-
No, I know that's what I'm saying. To have that done, that's like.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't even, like, I'm still lost for words on it for a lot. We keep talking about this, and I can't put it into words yet.
Yeah.
I'm, like, still trying to sort just a lot of little stuff that happened
Yeah.
that morning. But you guys, and what you guys do, by the way, your product, holy crap. Okay, this worked out to a point where you had to get another computer, find that. Now, all these little moving parts that came together, and that thing works flawlessly.
Yeah.
That car... Like, we were standing around the garage, and like you said, we were talking about this before we went on air.
Yeah.
You could have dropped a pin 5 blocks over. It would have echoed through that garage.
Yeah.
And we're going, okay. And they get me. I'm sitting inside the car, and I'm like, okay. Well, let's see what happens. I'm like... and it cranked, and it sucker fired up, and I went... And
it
so
sat there
funny.
and ran like it ran yesterday. It
Yeah.
just boom.
It
It's
fired
just
right up and idled.
like
and
wow.
Everybody cheered.
Yeah, it was so
it was-
That was the best
great.
video I got all day.
It was.
oh man.
It was great.
Relief on my side because I couldn't, we
Oh,
couldn't be
no.
there. So it's
Oh.
just like, hopefully everything goes smooth. Like, last thing we want to do is get you're just on cloud 9 and then leave you hanging. Oh wait, we got to do this.
I
or,
would have
you
stayed
know.
at Dino's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad
And
place
I know
to
we
stay.
talked about this earlier, but about the product. Being from the aerospace industry, I've worked a lot of jobs where we had a lot of kits and modifications and things to do. So I understand schematics, blueprints, procedures, that sort of stuff, and done a lot of it. Your product, and I have to say, is one of the best products I have ever installed in my entire life, as far as from start to finish, quality of just the components, the kits, the way you lay your hardware out. The instructions are phenomenal. If anybody's ever nervous about putting a supercharger on a car, I have to tell you, don't have the same trepidation that I did at the beginning. I think it's common. It's a big item to
Absolutely,
you're
to
taking an
tackle.
engine apart
Yeah.
to a degree.
Yep.
You're drilling in a pretty critical area. I tell you, it went flawless. And I have to say, and a lot of that's due to you guys' engineering, your attention to detail, and the quality of the product is phenomenal. It's a beautiful piece. On the car, I mean,
Appreciate it.
it's a
There
good
was-
looking part.
I knew it was good because there was no yelling. Nobody yelled at
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Nothing.
We were like a bunch of
Nothing.
No
Everything
wrenches,
no, there
no-
was,
No,
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 there was
no.
nothing.
No,
The
we were
whole
like a bunch of
day went
surgeons
just-
working away.
It
Yeah.
just went
Working away.
I couldn't have planned a better day. I mean,
Yeah.
I was giggling inside and outside and crying, going, "This is like the most amazing." Because I had visions. That's what you envisioned this.
Yeah.
This thing, and it just was like butter
Yeah.
the whole day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal product.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate
Well,
it.
yeah.
No,
I mean,
it's
one of the things.
Congratulations
we
goes
pride
to you guys.
ourselves
I mean, you
on,
guys
so.
have
it's
put a lot of
unbelievable,
effort
and
into
it
this,
looks-
and it's first class.
The only thing that
It
we were
looks like-
kind of that we couldn't figure out at the beginning is like, where's the hole on top for the carburetor? Yeah, that was the only thing. I was
Yeah.
like, where's the hole?
Yeah,
Don't date yourself.
yeah. We had the die grinder out. We were going to start cutting.
We had a Predator carb to go on top. It was awesome. It was so cool.
Glad you didn't go that route.
Oh, totally. And I gotta tell you, it looks like it grew. Speaking of these guys,
Speaking of, you got to bring him in.
Here comes
don't get
trouble.
me wrong, I like you, but come here. We gotta get. Yes, I want.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No.
You
Yeah,
don't.
two of the guys that were involved in
Three
the
of
video
them.
too.
Oh,
Three guys that were
Three of them.
involved. Okay, this is gonna be a great episode. Right? Even you, man.
Nice.
Hi, man.
Some of my favorite people just showed
Nice.
Please come in. You were
John
part of this.
Jackson
We were singing your praises.
and David.
Praises.
I brought you dog
we had
treats.
The praises of Dave Engel, man. It was doing so good.
Not for you.
Oh,
Celebrity flies in from Colorado.
Nice.
in the Film Actors Guild?
Oh man.
Oh.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay for those.
So,
But I gotta tell you, that supercharger looks like it grew underneath that hood.
Yep.
Like it is so everything about that. It's so well designed. And again, the engineering behind that thing. That car runs. Here's the funny part. It's hard to say. Oh, if you didn't know it was on there, you wouldn't. No, if you had no idea what you're looking at and you listen to that car, you just go at idle. You go, wow, okay, great. It's a
Yeah.
nice, smooth running car.
Yeah.
And you get in that thing, and don't get me wrong, once we get the exhaust, I'm waiting to get the exhaust and let that thing really breathe. But it's so much fun.
Oh
It's
yeah.
stupid fun. It is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I giggle like I shouldn't really. I mean, I grin from ear to ear, and it's hard to look like a badass in your car when you're driving around. You're like, yeah, it's the weirdest thing
No,
ever.
trust me. And like now that you like drive a blown vehicle, like driving stock sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I can never go
Like
back.
I have 2 blown vehicles, and then my daily driver is bone stock. The only reason why I could probably drive that daily is because it's 1.2 miles to work and back.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
I like
pointless to
had
turn
to
around
like
and shut it
get
off.
on the
Yeah.
freeway and
Oh,
stuff and do
God.
that.
Yeah.
Actually, he drives the Pontiac that's blown to work. So, but yeah, I know you'll never want to go back. Oh, thank you.
Oh, look at that.
Special delivery. Thank you, Greg. Good to see you.
But now we gotta pay you. Now we gotta pay you scale. Great.
I didn't say his last name. I don't think it came in frame.
But okay, so real quick then, at Magnuson.
Yes.
There's so much we could digest on this. You guys have the most interesting dynamic. Period. I mean, we'll get into that side in a minute. But okay, your jobs at Magnuson. We'll do ladies first.
Okay.
You are
my official title is marketing coordinator. So I handle all of our event coordination. I handle all of our media, advertising, sponsorships. So we have like professional drivers that I handle, work out all of their agreements. I deal with just the regular day-to-day stuff, paying for all the stuff we go to. So a lot of paperwork stuff, but I also get to do a lot of fun stuff like come to events. And this is one of the ones that we come to just outside of work, but I mean, we go to quite a few events during the year. Right? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
since
really cool.
I was little, and him as well. So we're blessed to work in this industry. Absolutely.
Oh, there's nothing like it. I mean, we talk about this all the time. This is a family. It's not work.
Yeah.
It's a weird, goofy family. I'll gladly be the one you keep up in the attic. I'll be the VC Andrews kid. Looking down this. Okay. That's a poll for those of you who read books. That's all I got. And your job, you are
R&D fabricator is what I got hired in for, but I kind of call myself a nomad. I do whatever they tell me to do.
Right.
So right now I do fabrication, designing parts. A lot of the smaller end parts, like we have our main engineers, but I'll do like the bracketry and the heat exchangers and stuff like that. The reservoirs, and then I help out our calibration department.
Right.
So I don't do all the tuning, but I do some, like a lot of the Toyota stuff I'm handling, and with our main calibrators, supervision. So and then a lot of customer service-ish,
Technical side.
So if a guy wants to put an LS swap or whatever in his, 56 Nomad or whatever, I can kind of help out what drive to do and stuff like that.
Oh.
So
Right on.
we try not to do too much of that so far now, but if it's like kind of an easy one, just like fire it off, say this is the kit you need, because we can't guarantee everything's going to fit. So, but that's kind of what I do. Just and then I go to shows. I usually am at SEMA and LS Fest is the two shows I usually go to. And then work on the vehicles, do installs here and there, but we don't really do a lot of installs at the facility, so we mainly just do the instructions.
Yeah.
And then maybe onesie twosies just to see if there's a variation between a model, like not a model, but a trim package,
Right.
like an RT versus a Hellcat or something like that. And we'll just see the variations and then make those changes. And then we leave it up to our dealers to sell and install so they can make the profit on the installation.
Very cool. So wow. So so now your background to go into this job. I think this is something interesting. If you're like, we have some young people listen to the show.
Yeah.
Coming up in the industry, and it kind of gives them a track on how to kind of follow their dreams. It's like your background leading to this. Like, what did you do that kind of ties in to put you in a job like that at a company like Magnuson?
So I grew up in Idaho, so I wasn't even. There's not a lot of. There's hot rodders there, but not like California or anything. And then I always took automotive in high school, and I was really good at it. And I from like as a little kid, I either wanted to work on cars at some point or do like marine biology because I like scuba diving, even though I can't really swim. So,
Go figure.
But
That's super diverse, and that's really cool, though. But the two do kind of tie together. So there's science involved with all parts of it, so it's really cool.
And I always wanted to be like, in high school I'd watch, all the Chip Foose stuff and Boyd Coddington. I was like, I want to be those guys. And then
You got the beard.
Yeah. So I knew, I was like, to get my foot in the door, I'm gonna have to go to some technical school. So I actually did go to Wyotech in Laramie, Wyoming.
Oh, right on.
So I went there, and it just happens to be high performance engines wasn't going at Laramie at the time. So I was either go to Pennsylvania or go to Sacramento, and I chose Sacramento. My sister lived in San Jose. She's like, move here, you know, blah, blah. So, and then I graduated, and I was working for the school for a while in the transmission department, and applied a bunch of places. I was really into Subarus at the time. Oh, I still kind of am, but I always wanted to work at Cobb, and they are close to where I grew up. I'm like, perfect. I'm gonna be like a couple hours away from home, see my parents. And they were actually getting ready to move back to Texas. So they were. I didn't know that. They were like, oh, we're kind of hiring, and then luckily my grandma knew Jerry from high school, and Jerry Magnuson, and she's like, yeah, I know this guy who makes superchargers, and I'm like, okay, like I was kind of in the Subaru import stuff. I'm like, supercharger, I want turbo
guy.
you know, this is turbo. This is supercharger. What's this supercharger nonsense? Like, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, all right, so I applied. And it took like 11 months, and then they called me down, and I got a job. And Jerry said, "I'll give you 3 months, and if you excel, you have like that's my probation period, and we'll see what you do." And luckily, it worked.
Right on.
And so it's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Congratulations. That's huge.
Very much.
Yeah, so I just needed. I knew I needed. Some guys, have hot rodders that will go just bug and they'll teach them the ropes. I didn't have that, so I went to the tech school just to say I had some experience, to go into
Well, that's
the
a
shop.
smart move, though, and I think that's really great advice for somebody out there who doesn't maybe have that mentor.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's got that guy down the block who's running a rail every weekend and has you over while it's tuning it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Like I know a couple guys that hung around, like Kenny Deltweiler. He's a local engine builder.
Oh, wow.
Like,
small time, yeah.
yeah,
Nobody's
Yeah.
Hangs out at our shop now,
little motor
No big
guy.
deal.
and so there's guys that they hung around him and learned a ton of knowledge. That guy has more knowledge in his one finger than I do my whole body.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. So I had to, like I said, I had to go to tech school or something. And Wyotech, I had family that lived in Wyoming. So I got kind of not free room and board, but it was definitely a lot cheaper.
Makes it a whole lot easier, yeah.
And then I had family there, so that was another reason I went there. But there's quite a few tech schools around the country that are good. But yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. No,
Just
that's
don't
awesome.
do your loans through Sally Mae.
Yeah.
All you kids listening.
Yeah. Find grants and whatever else.
PSA.
And, just don't.
Really, research your family history, know what your nationality
What
is, so
you
you can get
qualify.
anything for that. The Polish Falcon's
Right?
done.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got started, and
That's
and then
way cool.
I did work for Jerry after he sold Magnuson for about a year. We did the two roadsters with a couple guys, and I got to know one of my good friends now, Aaron Cranford. Me and him became really good friends. So
Way cool.
And Aaron's a good guy. I like Aaron.
Yeah.
he's all right.
That's right.
I know.
Yeah. He was in our wedding.
That's awesome.
He was.
Awesome.
So
Way cool.
yeah.
And your background now, how does someone go into on the marketing side? And that's a broad term when you get into this industry.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah. Gosh. Well, Valentine's Day this year will be my 9th year at Magnuson.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. I actually knew somebody that worked there. I was, at the time, a nanny for 3 girls, and they were getting older, and I didn't need to work as much with them. I was more a chauffeur at that point, running them to and from after-school stuff. So, I finally told myself, I'm like, I guess it's time to get, a big girl job and, work at an employer rather than being self-employed. My mom instilled at a young age health insurance. Don't care where you work, health insurance, so I had that in the back of my mind.
Steady paycheck. All these
Absolutely.
Things
So a friend of mine at church, I had told her that I was looking, and she's like, oh, well, let me talk to my mother-in-law. Well, her mother-in-law was the CFO at Magnuson. And I actually
fortuitous.
knew. I know. So, and then I actually knew 2 other people that had worked there. One was currently still working there, a longtime family friend, And so I actually went and interviewed, and I got hired as a sales assistant. So I was running orders to the floor, paperwork, stuff like that. And I've kind of moved positions throughout my 9 years, depending on like where I was needed, wherever my skill set was. I kind of can adapt and do a little bit of anything. So for me, it was easy for me to transition into different departments. So I started out as a sales assistant, went over into shipping and accounting, like accounts receivable, and then shipping the products out. And then for a year and a half, I was the assistant for our CEO. And then they had a desperate need for another person to do marketing. So they needed me there, and I've been there for the last 5 years in that position. So
that's a really cool ladder up, though.
Yeah.
But you've got a really unique perspective too, that you know
absolutely
almost every phase of.
Yeah.
You know how to communicate with every department.
Yes.
That's really cool,
Yeah.
and I think that's an important thing that a lot of people. If you just come in and you get planted as like you're now the director of marketing, and it's some kid fresh out of college.
Right.
To go back and have to learn the company like that and develop those relationships inside it, that's hard to do.
Processes
Very
like
hard.
the shipping and stuff.
Oh,
she
sure.
knows the process, so it's just
like I know
boom,
from
boom,
start
boom.
to finish what needs to happen, or or who to go to.
Right.
Not necessarily that I may know, but at least I know who.
That's right.
knows.
So that really streamlines everything in your job. Oh, that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, and like I said, I go to a lot of events over the last 9 years. Like the amount of knowledge that I've gained has just. I mean, it kind of like stuns me in a sense because I'm like, I can't believe I talk like this now. But, but I mean, 9 years. How can you not pick up stuff and learn? And I mean, I've always like automotive stuff has always been a passion of mine. So it's something that I'm interested in, which helps. But it's fun. And I've also done helped with repairs. Like I was the person that coordinated with repairs coming in. So I mean, a little bit technical. He is a huge help on that, But so I mean, I kind of, I've seen it all.
And that's also because you can talk the talk, and that's really cool part. But what impresses me most, though, is you, in any conversation with you, it's never the product. You mention everything by name, like it's a living, breathing thing. That's real passion for a product, and that's awesome. And I just called it a product. That was douchey. But you know what I mean, though? You literally, that's so much better than hearing, the product, our product. It's always... what you're working on, what the parts you guys sell. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack.
Sorry.
Yes.
Thanks, Lynn.
Her passion is almost psychotic.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. My lovely wife. I love her to death. Her timing is terrible.
Hi, Lynn. You guys have this, and you guys have a really interesting dynamic. Are we allowed to talk about it?
Oh it's not a secret.
It's hidden. Uh-oh. The secret. Okay, we got round 6 after dark. No, no, you guys have a really interesting dynamic because being a married couple and it's a high-profile company in a very dynamic industry. That's a really cool thing because, like you said, you're supplying technical knowledge to her. You're probably getting the inside track of, well, this is how we're going to market this thing. This is where it's going, and that gives you a better idea on how to do your job some days when you're thinking, well, I've got to make this for this guy. She's like, well, these are the kind of people we're working with. That's mind-blowing and so smart. I can't begin to tell you how smart that is. Like for a company to do that. So how do you guys, you work at the same company, do you bring work home with you? Does it stay at home? Do you guys, because here's the problem, you're both passionate about cars.
Yeah.
You've got, to follow your Instagram feed is awesome. It's great because killer truck and everything like that, and you just go, how do you separate work from home life?
Yeah, do you want me to kind of...
Sure.
It's hard to not take it home. I think that's, it's what we do all day long, and it's what we're passionate about. And then, just like with any couple, you're going to go home and you're like, how was your day? And we work in the same building. We've been married for 5 years now, but we don't sit next to each other. So I really don't know how his day has been sometimes. We'll touch it, we'll see each other at lunch. But a lot of days, though, it's I only see him at lunch, and it's let's go get something to eat, or we just sit in the office quietly and eat together, but quietly. So, at the end of the day, I still want to know, hey, how was your day? And, check in. And him the same with me. Or, oh, how was this going? Because he knows what I'm in the middle of. Stuff like that. So, it is pretty standard, pretty normal to any other couple that goes home to each other, or
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it is definitely hard to get away from it. I mean, for instance, like we were like craving like mentally a break from just work stuff, and obviously we had just come off of SEMA, and then we went to Dino's and all this stuff, our end of year
It's
activities.
a lot of car stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And of course, I didn't
Yeah.
help the situation at all.
No, and then he's bugging me. No, just kidding. So for us, I mean, even at Christmas, I told him, I was like, I just want to go to Disneyland. You and me, nothing family related,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's definitely a place you get lost and don't think about
Well, that's a
work.
nice quiet place to go to.
And we're not going to Cars Land.
We didn't know.
We didn't. We only sit on Disneyland. We didn't get a park hopper. So, but I mean, it's stuff like that where there are some things we're interested in to where we can kind of break away and take that mental break to it. So it's just not so constant. But I wish there were more days like that, but I'm sure he does too. But it, it's what we do right now in this time of our life, and that's just how it is. And
Awesome.
yeah.
So cool. Thank you guys for sharing that. I just thought it was. I like to bring something to the podcast that's helpful, because I mean there might be a couple out there that does this, and if for someone looking to break into the industry, any advice? I love asking this because that's such a loaded question. It's such a hard.
It totally is. Mine was luck of the draw. Like, I just happened to know somebody that worked there. I had never, I had, for most of my, anytime I've ever had a job, it's always had to do with childcare or summer camps and stuff like that, which I do the same thing now, just for older men. I just tell everyone what we're doing today, and this is where we're going.
Magnuson camp coordinator.
Older man, and she looks at me.
No, you were just the quiet one.
We're gonna make s'mores at lunch.
But like for events, right? Like, okay, everybody, like, this is the plan, so for me, it's been like an easy transition for the marketing stuff. And I love to keep busy. I'm not the type of person that likes to stay at home and do nothing.
Yep.
I'm sure Dustin wishes I was more of that. He says he hasn't slept in since he met me. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, it was definitely a luck of the draw. I mean, I just was so fortunate that somebody was already looking to bring somebody in, and it was a passion of mine. So I didn't go to school for marketing. It's just kind of like a natural thing, natural ability and talent that I have. So I mean, the only thing I could say is, if you are interested, find out who you know that may know someone.
Yeah.
Try and see who your connections are.
Even-
You never know. I would have never guessed the person that my friend's mother-in-law worked at a car place. I would have never guessed it in a million years. So you never know. Just ask around.
Sometimes, like, even when I was going to tech, I knew a lot of guys that knew people, and sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's frustrating, because there was a lot of guys that I knew that got really nice, worked at nice places, and right out of the bat, I didn't have that for a while. I searched, I was even applying at little mom and pop shops just doing repairs. Like, I just needed something, and then luckily it worked out. I had no intention of even moving to SoCal. I wasn't really that interested, and then it just, luckily I did, because that's where I met her, and so
Worked out great for you on like all levels.
yeah.
Dude, that's
so,
awesome.
So it's kind of hard to say how to get into the industry, since my family knew someone in the industry, but kind of her, I had no idea that my grandma
Your grandma would lead you.
lead me to Southern California, and
So
Yeah.
weird, but that's
Yeah.
so cool.
but,
Yeah. I
yeah.
know. It's crazy.
Well, thank you guys.
yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you. I can't.
Yes.
We're so
Thank
excited
you.
for
That's the
you.
word.
You guys were key
Because you
players
were-
in this.
And
wish I
this
had
guy
those.
for making it all happen. And
But I mean, she was behind me
coordinating.
100%. I'd called. She's like, "I'm working on this, and we're doing this." It's like, and then he's going, "We're gonna get this." It's like, okay, all right. I'm gonna freak out and just
Even
keep
though-
going.
You're freaking out, and they're like, "Oh, this
Oh,
is Tuesday."
Even though we were freaking out a little bit, because he was telling me, he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it in January, I think, but he didn't say 100% a date. And then she's like, oh yeah, it's the 18th, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a week. I'm like, he didn't call us and tell us. I'm like, so I'm like emailing people, and I'm like, how can we get this computer? And
I mean,
luckily,
a week. You knew 3 months
was-
ahead of time.
But
Oh,
again,
you
though,
were
but
like,
that
yeah,
comes
I
down
think
to
we're gonna do it.
It was always, I think.
It was-
Scottsdale,
Well, there was
Barrett.
two weekends because it was Barrett Jackson that week.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So
That was-
Everyone's in
tough.
town.
Tim and
too.
then Tim had something going on. Tim goes,
Yeah.
I can't make it
Yeah.
this weekend. It's like,
Right.
well, you need to be there, so we'll make it this. So that, like, okay, here we are. This is the weekend.
But again, that comes down to that power of the network thing that we talked about. Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
This is so weird. Again, it's who you know. You got into. No, I can't even talk now. You got into the industry via people you know and
Yeah.
working that network. You followed that power of the network where you were like, okay, Dino to this. You were literally like Facebook and LinkedIn sleuth, man. You were
crazy.
well
I
played.
loved it because you had no idea that I even had ever met. Like I had like never even like met you in person until SEMA, and I had been talking to him prior. So
We were
at
texting, but it's
SEMA, he's
before
texting me, and
SEMA,
he's like,
before we even get to the
remember,
before they get the
pretend you don't know me.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't
Yeah.
know that I even have your
Yeah,
phone
that's
number.
right.
Like
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that
were
was-
really trying to be, incognito at SEMA.
SEMA, her and I are texting. Okay, I'm stalling. He's on his way. I'm over here talking to these people. I'll be over there in a minute. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and it all worked out. And
Yeah.
I was like literally bragging a few days before we were talking. Just sometimes you pull into the gas station, everybody wants to talk cars.
yeah.
And I was bragging. I said, I'd gone to a couple of like Challenger Club things, and I was like, oh, these are just guys who only want to talk about stuff they learned online. Oh, I saw this online stuff, and
Yeah.
I had like the industry insider track on
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, and it got just kind of weird to go because I felt like I was the guy who was going to supply like the insider track.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that guy. I just wanted
Yeah.
to be
One of them.
guy who's just having a good time.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I'm bragging to my girlfriend, oh, I know all the stuff that's going on in the industry, and everything about the look that she gave me makes so much sense. I'm used to getting the look, but I got the,
Sure
and
you
she
do.
texted me laughing, going, "He thinks he knows everything." I'm like, I know.
I know nothing.
Well, you found out how little you kind of do know about the industry.
Oh, I found out a lot about the industry.
No.
It's such a large industry, but it's such a small world at the same time.
There you go.
start
That's a
connecting
great-
people together.
That's a
Yeah.
great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's,
Well
everybody
played,
knows
sir.
everybody who knows somebody.
Yeah,
And
no,
you start
absolutely.
kind of working those angles.
And so thankful for I don't even want to say connections, but the people and the friendships that I've made along the way.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not a connection like, oh, I know these guys that can, they have a podcast, or maybe they would want to do a show. It's like, investing in the relationship and the person itself, and
Right.
getting to know people and their story and
Right.
what makes them do what they do and what they're
Yeah.
passionate about.
Yeah.
It's so huge, and that's what I love about our industry.
Yeah.
Because for the most part,
Yeah.
that sums up every one of us.
It's
Pretty
full of great
much.
stories.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's why
Hence
we do
why you
what we
guys
do.
do what you do. Yep,
That's
absolutely.
why we're so into this. And
Yeah.
my God, what a cool deal.
Congrats.
Awesome. Thank you. That's so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And you know us. So if you need a fart joke, you just call and we're
Yeah.
He's your man.
We got him
Brian's
queued
your
up.
man.
We're ready.
Oh yeah.
you're sitting there
Alrighty.
like,
I'll
I've got to
hold
write
you
some
to
ad
it.
copy today. I need a fart joke. Oh, we're dealing with Boost. I've got you. Well, thank you guys. Sincerely,
Yeah, you're
thank
very
you for
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
what you guys did, and
And thanks for thinking of us so that we could have the opportunity to be a part of it, Brad.
Thanks, man.
It was wonderful.
Very appreciative.
And there's Alex right in the middle of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Man, it was
Man,
one
that
big
was
secret.
That was one of the
going
coolest days I've ever had, honestly.
I said, of all the people I could ever have wrench on my car, and I'm obsessive about
I am the
that.
same way. I'm the
You-
same way.
I've never felt more at ease. I looked over, it was like you and Dave working on it. I was
Yeah.
like,
You had
Rocket.
top end guys
Yeah.
working on your
Yeah,
car
yeah.
that day.
Yeah,
You weren't going to
Dave-
get any.
Dave
was Oh, yeah, I
zero
saw the
stuff.
lineup.
Dave
Yeah.
and Matt.
We
You got
even
Matt
had
Hay
some-
underneath your
We had
car.
somebody from Hemmings Motor News
Everybody.
that was coming to do the
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
Put his camera stuff away and started
a
wrenching.
wrenching.
Mike
Yeah.
dove
Started-
right in, and he
Yeah.
was working. And he came back. So
Yeah.
he took some.
Went to
like,
Barrett
take
Jackson,
pictures,
came back to the
and
house.
he came back and he dove in. He was getting dirty.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
He was probably like, I can't wait to leave doing my normal stuff to
like
get
he-
back to that.
And he was
You
right
know
in the
what I
middle
mean?
of it. He was
Yeah.
one of the guys working on the blower deal because he was going through
Yeah.
the book and he was helping
He
you
put
guys.
the computer in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So there was
His
stuff going
contribution,
on.
perfect.
Yes, he did.
was awesome.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He put the pump in.
There was stuff.
Oh, yeah, the reservoir?
Circulation
He was
pump.
in the middle of
Yeah.
everything. It was great.
Yeah,
It
good
was
time.
hands on. It was a
It was
great
fun.
day.
It was a fun day.
what I'd love to do, I'd love to have you back on, if you guys don't mind. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, I never want to talk to you about stuff you can't talk about. And
Yeah.
although if you ever want to break a story, you know what I'm saying?
As long as you blur my face,
Yeah.
I can do my late
voice.
night
Voice.
The
voice.
do it.
silhouette with the lit up background. We'll play with her voice.
We'll modulate your voice down. We'll have Alex
Perfect.
just lip sync whatever you say. So the greatest episode ever.
Yeah.
Alex is possessed by the spirit of.
That's right.
No, I mean we'd be happy to come back
yeah.
whenever you guys want
And
us.
anything you ever need from me, please.
All right.
Whatever, call me.
All
I'll
right.
come down. I'll dust your house, mow the grass. I don't care. Whatever it takes.
He,
Sounds like a
he
plan.
talks big. He'll just bring you some beer or something. It's
Hey, that's okay too.
That's fine.
That's perfect.
Won't turn that down.
I'll totally do that too.
here, drink this while you're mowing your yard and vacuuming your house.
I love watching people drink beer. It's a weird hobby, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you again,
Yeah.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Both
Thanks
of
for
you,
having
both of
us
you.
and-
For not freaking me out and scaring me to death. It's like you kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it was like, well,
We couldn't have it go super smooth for you. You needed to sweat a little.
oh yeah, there's a little bit of sweating going
That's
on.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking it. Let you guys see the show. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
sort of like an hour and a half.
Thank
so.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you for
problem.
stopping
To
by.
be honest, we came for you guys. So.
Ah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
So,
guys.
Thank you. And
Appreciate it.
at the end of that, that's a great episode.
Great episode.
I'm not going to ruin it
Fun.
by saying. I'm just going to say I am I'm going with it, man. I'm Brian, and I'm blown away.
I'm
that was
stealing her. I'm stealing her deal. I'm a much more boosted Brad.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
I
you.
like it.
And I'm still Alex. They took both of the ones I was thinking of. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us,
Guys.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Fun.